Hello, you divine, infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever, ever, ever shall be. And I'm just taking a moment. I'm able to do live again for a while on Facebook. We'll see for how long. So I want to just come together with you for a minute, and if you can, breathing in I am, and exhaling peace. This is a very, very powerful, and pivotal time. So take a nice deep breath to ground and center yourself. Breathing in I am, and exhaling infinite, 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 infinite. And another breath. Breathing in I am, and exhaling love, love. And one more breath, breathing in I am, and exhaling infinite source. And I'm just doing this impromptu, but I felt called to just share with you for a minute, because we're at a really powerful, hi, Judge. We're at a really powerful, pivotal time in history of our planet. And it's a good time to just stay centered, to stay grounded, because I'm going to talk about it on a very high level, and then I'm going to bring it down into our everyday lives. But the very high level, the timelines are splitting, and there is one that is ascending at a very rapid rate, and then there's another that's going to encapsulate those who are unaware, and then descent. Okay, that's basically it. Without going into the divine architecture, and there's a lot of people talking about that. Ireland Clark did a wonderful video on that and describing exactly the new architecture that has now been made available, which is spiraling people upwards for those that can anchor onto the ascending timeline. And then there's what I call the artificial technological false ascension matrix that I'm going to talk about in a minute now. So it's really time to decide moment to moment with your everyday life what timeline you want to be on. And it's going to be really increasingly more difficult to be in both of them. You are going to have to really be aware of what you're doing on each timeline. So the ascending timeline is a divine organic architecture that is restoring us to our 12-stranded crystal DNA, to our Christ of light bodies, to our to the open geometric patterns and architecture that connects us with the infinite, which I call the infinite, and I write about it in my book, The Infinite Human. It's all explained in there. And with the infinite God source worlds, which we have been cut off of, literally cut off of. It's going to bring our divine technology, organic technology, back online. Hi, welcome, Gabriel. And also, if you have a question, please put it in there. I'd be glad to answer it. But it's going to bring our divine technology back online. We're going to start doing things that we thought were magical, powers that we used artificial technology for. That is going to become more and more accessible to us, to those of us who are choosing the higher timeline. And I've sent out little messages and videos that it's a really good time. The best way to fast track to this timeline is every day as you wake up to declare your intention, your commitment to serve infinite God source, and that's within you too. And that's going to be fun, because that's going to be doing something you love to do. It's going to be activating your soul mission, and it's going to be things that you dreamed never possible, that you've always wanted to do, okay? And that's the good stuff. It's the really good stuff. But it is going to require you to let go of your hurts, your blames, your trauma, and do a lot of inner healing, self-healing, and shadow work, all right? So that's the difficult part, but the good news is it's at hand, and as you cut away the lower frequency people, places, things, beliefs, thought forms, you will be creating your own universe, riding, piggybacking onto this higher timeline. It is just going to make things easier and easier and easier for you as you just glide. You will it's kind of like you're taking off, a rocket taking off, and as you take off, you'll just soar into the infinite. Okay, infinite, no limits, infinite. Now, running parallel with that, and what we're going to be seeing, and a lot of people are getting frightened about it. Again, fear is not, don't do that. But it's, a lot of people are concerned about CERN. So I want you to discern about CERN, which is coming up July 5th. The activation of it, well, you know, the huge activation. So what's really going on there? That is the bad copy that they're trying to sell you, okay? So just know what you're looking at, okay? And to help people that are ready to extract them, because we're going to have about a year with this to kind of get people off of it that have made poor choices perhaps, and they have connected themselves, attached themselves genetically to the lower genetics of that lower descending timeline, okay? And that has to do with bioweaponry, the 5G. I always made a video before, I said 5D or 5G. So these are the choices really fleshing themselves out, which I write about in my book, The Infinite Human. Spell it out very clear in 143,000 words, 144,000 words. So, interesting. And so the descending timeline has to do with people being connected, and I talked about the Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee and the symbolism of the world, the old world order ending and the new world of technological tyranny taking over, which is connecting the third strand of DNA, okay, this synthetic, artificial strand, to the 5G tree of life, which she lit up, you know, when it ran across the floor and lit up this, you know, the Christmas tree, the false Christ tree. And so what that's done is everyone in these past 2 years, the foundation has been laid around the planets and 5G towers. SpaceX has been activated, and people have been injected with this biotechnology that is linking them to this matrix, this metaverse, this false metaverse. And July 5th is simply the opening of the portal into the metaverse, okay, into a cyberspace, an artificial universe, where they are now, the next phase will be to upload people's consciousness into this heaven on earth, okay? And this, okay, I'm just going to say the revelations, this has all been planned for a long time, eons, and Revelations is pretty much the script. It is not an authentic part of the true Emerald records that the true Bible, the true Essene manuscripts and the Gnostic documents were taken from. I explain that in my book, The Infinite Human. But it is a false inserted story script that they are now carrying out, the Revelations part, which is about their total conquest, the dark side, I'll call it the finite side's conquest, in terms of AI technology, artificial intelligence versus divine intelligence, divine, organic, God-sourced, you know, technology, and then the man-made kind, which they're, you know, they're creating life, they're creating their own separate, parallel, bad copy of what the divine creator created, all right? So those are the choices. Know the choices. Hi, Lori. Know the choices and know, you know, ground yourself by just simply committing to divine, infinite God source, okay? I talk a lot about the name God, which actually just means to invoke. So you really want to know what you're invoking. Hi, Lori. What you're invoking, and what you're invoking needs to be the infinite God source. Infinite, divine, infinite. Not the lower metaverse, the bad copy, the false tyrannical male God, blah, blah, blah. So every day you're getting to kind of feel, sense your way through these timelines, but also, and I just want to say this heads up for a lot of people because I've certainly felt it. We are in the midst of a war, and the war is happening not just out there but inside our bodies because it is a war of frequency. And we may feel ourselves getting lots of downloads, cosmic downloads, activations from our sun, from the photonic belt, from the alignments of the sun, from all these crystalline architectural activations that are activating inside our bodies, our DNA. And okay, good. Ready for the new times. Good, good. So anchor yourself there. Anchor yourself there. Now, just every time there's this high, then of course the dark side comes about with the low, and the low they're trying to do now is to counteract all this upward spiraling with their downward spiraling of a black hole technology, of recreating the God atom or whatever it is, the God gene, the God atom, the God, they're trying to play God, okay? Trying to play God. And that just doesn't work, all right? It's a bad copy. It's a bad copy. So surrender your will to the highest will of divine infinite source, not your ego, because when you try to hold on to things, especially the old ways, and you said you're ready for the new times, that's good. Good to be ready for the new times because it's new. But the new you have to discern. CERN. Discern. Is it going to be the new 5D, organic, infinite ascension? Or is it going to be the new 5G, which is the bad copy that they're trying to get you connected to through all this? You're gonna see things. They're now giving you all kinds of things that they've had forever, but they're going to be throwing them out, and you're going to be able to do all kinds of things. And what they're going to want to do is get the technology into you, or in other words, get your technology uploaded into this metaverse that they are now opening a portal into. That's what the black hole is going into, this false metaverse, which encases the planet, and which I write about in my book, The Infinite Human, will eventually be sloughed off as the earth expands into the higher dimensions. It will be sloughed off. But where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the scab that's being sloughed off, this metaverse scab that's falling even lower into a more dense reality and eventually going to space dust maybe? Or do you want to be on the ascending organic earth? And it's going to be really tempting to so many people because the AI is going to be easy. People are lining up to be healed by medbeds, healed by technology, immortal by putting a chip in their brain. It's easy healing, but I just came out with another book, The Pathway Home, which is all about divine inner healing, that you have to heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and it takes work. It's not just you just step into one of those med beds, like if you've ever seen Star Wars. Stargate. The Egyptian sarcophagi were places where they would renew themselves, so they would be immortal. The dark side, the satanic, entities that parasites that inhabited human bodies. Okay, they would keep their human hosts alive in these med beds, but they were dependent on them. They became dependent on technology. So, do you want to be dependent on something outside of yourself, AI, artificially outside of yourself, to keep you young, to keep you, whatever? Does anybody have any questions here? Ready for new times, Lori, Wendy? Hi. Hope you're enjoying the book. Has anybody here been reading The Infinite Human? Okay, and if you have, I've gotten some wonderful feedback from it. That I don't want to, steal the thunder, the punchline, but basically it talks about this. Okay, so really you have to choose wisely because you don't want to put the technology in you. And truthfully, the cure I write about in The Pathway Home, the second book that my husband, who is a doctor, Dr. Peter Monroy, an MD, and I, a mental health counselor, wrote. And we talk about the cure for COVID, okay, certificate of vaccination identification, documentation, is to return to what the indigenous have been telling us, and the rainbow Hopi prophecy talks about, returning to the way of the ancients, returning to living in balance and harmony with our Mother Earth, with nature, with the biorhythms of Earth. And that's the cure, and that's what everyone's going to be flocking to. They're going to be flocking to this new divine technology. You don't need something outside of yourself. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to get crypto in a crypt of anti-life currency, because this is an anti-life, anti-Christ, because Kristalla, Christo, is the divine DNA that we have. It's Kristalla DNA. Okay, so no. I know it, but just think about it. It's simple. The truth is simple. You gotta do your work. If you want to have a seed, if you want to grow a tree, you have to plant a seed. You have to water it. You have to take care of it, right? Okay, you want a technological seed. You snap your fingers. There's a tree. I mean, that's not the rhythm, the natural rhythm of God's time, divine time. Same with healing yourself. You have to face your shadow self. I'm sorry, but there's no way around it. You have to clear out all your wounds, because if you have a dis-ease in your body, it's because first the vibration has come into your auric field and you haven't rebalanced it. So it's come into your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body, and eventually into your physical body. And it requires ease. Dis-ease is when you are diseased. The spirit is not flowing through you. Divine source is not flowing through you with ease. So you have to rebalance that. And I was talking earlier, this past 2 days, my God, it was a real whammy for me, because the sun, the activations with the sun were so intense. I have what I call, what is called the music of the spheres. I have the ability to hear. It's almost like having a Mozart concert inside of your body constantly. So when the vibrations are really high, my whole body vibrates with violins and classical music, and I know I'm being, upgraded. More light is coming into my cells. But I had to just hang on to my body and just meditate with crystals for the past 2 days just to assimilate this energy. This is the first time I've been able to talk, and I really wanted to just spend a few moments with you guys to kind of give you a heads up, because this is coming in right now. We're having really high energies, and then who knows what's going to happen on the 5th when they open this portal into this dark metaverse, all right, this artificial universe. So just make sure, just keep choosing the highest timeline. First of all, declare your intention, surrender your will to serve divine infinite God source, right? That's the most important thing. To your own inner healing, to doing the work, your own spiritual work, because Ascension is work. It doesn't just happen by pressing a button. I like Cat Stevens' song a long time, he says, switch on summer like a slot machine, get what you want as you want, as you get anything. I mean, we've gotten so used to just turning on things, that we want, instead of respecting God's time. That's Kiki. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. Synthesis, exactly. Synthesizing the energies, becoming an alchemist. That's what we all have to do daily, okay? We have to, excuse me just a minute, I'm going to scream at my dog. Kiki! You're going to have to be quiet if you want to go out. So that's what we have to do. We have to become alchemists and learn to alchemize, synthesize these energies correctly, and that means tuning inward. So I would give everyone, besides just constantly committing yourself to serve the divine infinite source, in terms of your body, spend some time away, isolated, cocooned if you need to be. This is a good cocooning time, good time to just meditate, ground yourself in nature, be in nature as much as you can, really reflect on your life, and read my book, The Infinite Human. It really just takes you on a whole hero's journey of healing yourself and clearing your shadow self through me, my journey to hell and back. And then the most important thing too is I would say keep it simple. Just keep it really simple. Try not to get distracted by all the trauma out there. You know, try to bring unity first inside yourself, and then please don't play into the hands, especially my fellow Americans, guys. Please don't keep playing, oh my God, into the hands of this divide and conquer strategy. You guys are so good at that, following that script. And, you know, I call it the disunited state of America. I mean, you know, when I was over here, I knew it was happening, and I didn't want to wear a mask because I couldn't breathe. It was that simple, and I didn't wear one. And then as soon as this whole thing hit the States, mask, anti-mask, vax, anti-vax, Republican, you know, Trump against Trump, you know, I mean, everything, black against white. I mean, the United States is so good at really getting into those reverse polarities, and you're going to have to stop playing that game, because the reverse polarities are what are going to bring you down into that lower timeline, which is going to bring you into that black hole, which is going to bring you into the metaverse, the satanic metaverse, okay? And we're on Facebook, and they're building it every day, and, you know, you're going to have to be, oops.